Good morning and welcome to another Writer's Morning Commute. This morning I want to talk about something that gets me a little passionate. It's a series that I love, and it's a detail in that series that always has just driven me a little bit crazy. I asked on Twitter what some people's hang-ups with what would otherwise be a perfect story were. One person said Metal Gear, and I got another response. I don't remember what the other one was. Unfortunately, neither of them were stories I had read or played through, in the case of Metal Gear, I suppose. So I couldn't really comment too much. But for me, that story is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Such a good series. The original is almost a perfect cartoon. I think for its target audience, it was a perfect cartoon. Ideally, I would have liked to see it be just a little bit more mature. I have some issues with The Legend of Korra that we'll put aside for today. Not really speaking to that too much, though we'll come up a little bit. My issue with Avatar, despite loving almost everything about it, is that so much of the series is symmetrical. You have cycles and patterns and symmetries. Each of the 4 different, bending disciplines and nations have their own, histories, and you see how they work in different ways. And especially when it comes to the Avatar cycle. It starts out with, an airbender, then the next one's always a waterbender, then the next one's always an earthbender, the next one's always a firebender, then the next one's always an airbender again. These very regular cycles that are very symmetrical. With one, and then going back to the roots of bending, we kind of have these 2 different stories, right? So we have Toph claiming, or at least Toph was taught to earthbend by badger moles, and other people claim that badger moles were the first earthbenders and they taught people how to earthbend. Similarly, the moon is described as having taught people how to waterbend. I don't know if this is a retcon or an alternate explanation or what, but in Legend of Korra we see the dragon turtles giving people the ability to bend. And they seem like they can, do it pretty much right away. So did the dragon turtles give people the ability to bend in antiquity, and then people kind of forgot or something, and then later these other things, taught them how to do it? Don't know, but that's only sort of important to my point here. Aang has Appa, his air bison. The air bisons are supposedly the first airbenders. The fire avatar, Roku, had his own pet dragon, and we know that dragons were the first firebenders. We see badger moles being the first earthbenders, although we never actually see an earth avatar having a badger mole animal companion. But it's presumably possible that that would happen. But waterbenders. The idea that the moon was the first waterbender, or that the moon taught people how to waterbend, just drives me crazy. All these other ones, we have these cool, interesting animals that are, pretty big, and that would probably work reasonably well as a form of transportation. acting as the Avatar's animal companion, acting as the teacher for the bending, and yet we don't see that with waterbenders. Yes, Korra has her polar bear dog, which is an awesome animal companion, but it's established that polar bear dogs are seen as kind of a pest, and they're hunted by the water tribes, so they aren't something that past waterbender avatars would have used as an animal companion. They certainly aren't waterbenders. It's just that break in symmetry, every time I think about it, drives me so crazy. And it would have been so easy. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of them not having outlined that far. Maybe they would have noticed it if they would have kept going a bit more. I guess at a certain point you do have to kind of call what you've done good enough and move on to actually telling your story. And there's inevitably going to be some sort of small detail missing. And my passion that I get about this, that I'm not able to work up quite as much as I usually do because of the early morning, is really a testament to how much of a fan I am of the series. So, if anything, just take that into mind. Thank you for riding with me today. I hope you have a great one. See you next time.